Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I am Nicole McCarty, Marketing Manager here at COTI, and today joining us is Carl Henry. So Carl is one of the projects that was funded from Catalyst 7. Carl has made great progress with everything that he's working on. He is creating plugins for adapay on WordPress and Joomla. So I will let Carl introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Carl Henry Global. I think that the initial thing that I would say is that I've been in business a very long time, and I remember back to before there were mobile phones, and in fact even when pagers were brand new. So, but what I've managed to do is to keep up to date with the latest tech at all times, and going through over 40 different industries. I came a little while back now to look at the digital industry in more depth, and we've been building websites online and things like that for over 20 years. And we decided that, we needed to know more about the crypto industry and the digital currencies and everything else, and that kind of leads us to today.
Awesome. And how long have you been involved in crypto? How long have you been reading about it or actually, participating in the industry?
Yeah, like a lot of people, I've been aware of obviously Bitcoin for maybe up to 10 years, but never really got on the radar of what it was about. And what happened was that because we were accepting various payments online, I decided around about 2.5 years ago that it was time that we should be accepting digital currencies online for our digital services. And that was my first time where I thought, well, okay, I will seriously look at this. I started looking at the whole landscape and saw how terribly complicated it was. So I ended up actually then focusing in on Cardano, because at that time it was just really kind of emerging. And so I would say about 2.5 years I've been seriously looking at it, and gradually I decided to specialize, in the Cardano blockchain, while still accepting other currencies, but Cardano, and of course that led me to COTI.
Awesome. Yeah. So obviously the reason why you and COTI have a relationship now is because of Project Catalyst. So could you tell the community how you heard about Project Catalyst and what made you apply for it, and specifically the COTI challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. The first time I got involved with Catalyst was back in, we've just done 7. So we're in 8 now, 7,
yeah.
6. It was 6, yeah. So that was about the middle of last year. After looking at the whole ecosystem of Cardano, I then came across Catalyst and thought, well, it's a good way to get involved with the community by actively proposing things. So in the first fund that I got involved with, I put in about 25 different suggestions. I put in, I think it ended up being 9 or 10 actual proposals. But I was pitching in the dark because I had no real deep idea of the community, but it was a great way of actually the acid test of finding out how it all worked. I then refined all of our ideas in the next fund, and I saw the COTI challenge. And why I particularly liked that was it fitted with our abilities in terms of developing software. It fitted with the content management systems that we've been using for years. And it obviously was very, very needed. One of my key beliefs is that the digital currency industry will not be adopted until it becomes a day-to-day thing that nobody thinks about, like internet banking. So when I saw that COTI was offering a challenge, I thought this is a great opportunity to get involved with one of the cutting-edge companies. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you now, but COTI has really carved out a niche across several blockchains and currencies, but particularly, obviously, the link with Cardano and with all of the cutting-edge developments that Cardano blockchain is doing, and COTI are working hand in glove with them, not just sort of like building on top, you're actually partners. So that really got my interest. And as you can see, one of my, above here, one of my department's divisions is finance. It always has been for nearly 35 years. We've had financial divisions. So getting involved in digital finance and getting involved with a leading edge one, COTI, was just a no-brainer.
Awesome. Yeah. And I definitely agree with you that in order to create mass adoption, it really, you know, being able to pay in digital currencies needs to be like an unthinkable thing. Just, you know, could you explain your proposal for the COTI challenge and also where you stand in terms of the development?
Yeah. So I looked at the other proposals that were coming in under that challenge, and it was across quite a wide range of different platforms. So the challenge that I put in was for Joomla, which was a content management system that I've used for many, 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 many years. So I thought, well, I'll stick to our core competences, and I knew what we could do with that particular platform. What happened was, I proposed to produce plugins for 11 different shopping carts that live in the Joomla ecosystem. As I looked at it more closely, I think what we've ended up with is, I think it's 6 plugins for shopping carts, because the other ones didn't seem to have such a great uptake. And what we did is that we then pivoted to WordPress, and we produced a plugin for the shopping cart for that. And then as a kind of like a bonus, or making up for the ones on Joomla that we hadn't actually produced plugins for, we've produced donation plugins for both Joomla and for WordPress, because obviously a lot of these projects that are being built by these devs, they're not fully commercial. They're not actually charging any money for the work they're doing. So one of the ways of them getting a bit of support from the community is to accept donations, and in this case in ADA. So we produced those, and literally this last week, I've yet to test them, but I asked my people to produce like a buy now button. So basically it's like a module or a plugin. We've done one for Joomla, one for WordPress. And the idea is that in the middle of an article, you can actually put this plugin with a single product, and you can just click buy now and it goes straight to the COTI interface. And then that way, you've not got to go through a shopping cart or anything else like that. So it was so the whole idea is to try and give people tools to make sales, make money, make ADA, make digital currency.
And I actually saw your demo, and I will say it was extremely seamless and great for consumers that are just understanding digital currency and how to pay with it. So kudos to you there.
Thank you.
So next question, I want you to answer with your professional opinion. So what's your thoughts on the adapay code? You spent a lot of time reviewing it, so
yeah. Well, as far as the code was concerned and the functionality, as soon as we got our end organized properly with the API, etc. So I had a couple of questions right in the beginning, because and as Yuval has confirmed at the time, yes, you've got a lot of things going on. So you've got this sort of it's not an MVP, but basically you've got this functionality. It's in place, but it isn't quite like a developer's kit, but it's there. And anyway, once you explained that, I realized I shouldn't be looking for other information. And then it became very, very simple. And then we got onto a production line. So in terms of us interfacing with your back-end software, to use your word, it was seamless. And the discussions that I had with Noah and Yuval before are just about evolutions that we can do, like automatic conversion rates and things like that we can then use APIs within the shopping cart, so people are not having to watch the fluctuations, things like that. But it's the same thing with the things that we've produced. We've produced a basic functionality where you can go to a shopping cart, you can pay with ADA and go through and come back to us and get whatever it is, product or service. We need to now do more, one in the documentation. As you said, a lot of people will come to this and they will be scared of it. So we need to make sure we take away all the unknowns. And also I want to put in more information within the plugin guidance, and even a dashboard where they can be able to monitor various things that they're doing, etc. But again, iteratively. So my response to you was, it's been great. It's been really good. And the thing is that your interface looks so simple. Simple is difficult. Simple is complicated. So I can imagine behind that interface how much has gone on. You know, so very impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. So I know you just gave us a wonderful compliment, but did you encounter any struggles when working with adapay?
I would say that the where there could be an improvement, which, as I said, we've discussed, it's more in the guidance and documentation at the early stages, particularly for people that are going to, for instance, a merchant, who knows, he might be selling sneakers. He can maybe download our plugin. He might have Joomla or WordPress. He can install it. That's very simple. Then it comes to the configuration. So it's part on our side, and we're really keen to document everything, including how they apply for their merchant account, and then when they get their merchant account, which bits of that information and where it goes within our plugins, etc. So if there was any, you know, to use the word struggle, I think that where we're perceiving potential struggle for novices, for beginners, or for non-techie people. But that's our job to clarify that. But other than that, no great struggles at all. Been great. And lovely communication as well between you guys and us.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Now, can you tell me in which ways your solution will actually help the Cardano community as well as the crypto environment?
Yeah, the list is long.
We have time.
I have actually documented them out so that I don't forget them. But for instance, people selling non-fungible tokens, for instance, with these plugins, they don't have to go to one of the bigger platforms to sell their tokens. They literally could set their own website up on Joomla or WordPress, and they could accept ADA, and their NFTs can be in a shopping cart. So that as soon as the payment is successful, then they can literally come back to the merchant and get their NFT, you know, instantly. So there are a lot of freedoms that would create for people who are doing that. I believe also, I'll just keep it to these 2 points, is that a lot of people have become, let's say, ADA wealthy because they bought very early and just sat on it. They're not traders, whatever, but they've ended up with a lot of ADA. And what do they do with it? You know, they either change it to fiat, or if they're given more and more opportunities to use that ADA straight from their wallets, I think that's going to be a fantastic area of the economy.
I completely agree with you, Carl. So closing up, can you just share with the community a little bit more about your next developments that you're planning on, maybe what's in the works right now or in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Building on what we've done in this last sort of 8 or 9 weeks, one thing that we're doing is that we're going to actually develop a fully branded shopping cart that will already incorporate the link-ups with COTI, so that, adapay, so that people can actually download and install the shopping cart. It will all be set up already. We're also looking at, we started developing on for Web3 these virtual meta worlds, etc. And we're incorporating our plugin type things with COTI within those worlds as well, not just for gaming, but particularly we're attracting businesses. We're focusing on business uses of blockchain, etc. Our entry point is to say, right, blockchain, everybody needs to be on blockchain and using it in some way or form. So we've developed a whole range of use cases that we're starting to pump out to the business world, and then showing them then how digital currencies, because they're borderless, because they're very democratic in terms of the fact that if they make a sale in London and they're selling to Uganda, the sale is guaranteed and it's cross-border without any transfer rates and things like this. So in terms of the, let's say, overall push, it's all about getting businesses or even small, you know, it might be a person with an e-commerce idea, an e-commerce website, a single person have at home. So everything from a single person to a full company. And the other thing that we're doing and that we were funded for in the last couple of months is that we're building Cardano community hubs around the world. We've got multilingual platforms, etc. These hubs are our way to disseminate the information about using ADA, not only for commerce, but also for remittance payments, for instance. So we're looking at something like a sort of a PayPal type interface that would use COTI and would use ADA in order to be able to do small payments of, you know, a few hundred, you know, sort of like that, you know, very small payments, not big commercial payments. So that again is a massive opportunity for volume in terms of transactions. So basically, world domination.
Awesome. So it sounds like you are going to, in the future, continue participating in Project Catalyst. Is that correct?
We will keep putting proposals forward that we think are going to be helpful. I think the problem, not the problem, but the situation is that they're going to be capping now at 16 million a fund. And of course, the number of people applying for funding is going to become exponential. So one, the amounts of funds are going to get smaller, which makes it less viable for us to be able to do anything with that. But two, we believe in self-sustaining, becoming self-sustaining. So we're building in profit models within what we're doing with yourselves and separately. And we're also launching our own tokens so that we can fund ourselves in various different ways. So we'll always be a part of Catalyst, and we are mentoring a lot of new people coming in who want to do proposals. As we've been through 3 funds now, before soon, we've learned an awful lot. So yeah. We're hopefully going to stay in touch with you guys and Catalyst for a very long time.
Awesome. And before we go, do you want to let the community know how to follow you, how to stay up to date with what you're working on? I know you mentioned mentorship, so maybe let them know how to reach out to you.
Absolutely. Well, the Carl Henry Global moniker, you can pretty much put that in any browser and you'll get a couple of pages of our links, etc. I use that. The word global initially was actually our global activities. It's since, over the last 10 years, become global in terms of the world as well. But basically, yeah, start at Carl Henry Global. You can Google us, you can Bing us, you can do whatever you like. And we're happy to hear from anybody and everybody. We don't care how small your idea is or how big your idea is. If we can help you, you know, we're not looking to charge you from day one. We're looking to try and help make things happen, and then we'll see if we're successful. We're successful together.
Awesome. Well, Carl, thank you so much for joining us for this interview today. It was a pleasure, and you know, I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Well, Nicole, it's been lovely to have virtually met you, and thank you for not surprising me with any new questions that hadn't had that on the list.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl.
All the best. Bye.